Talking about automation and medical physics consult write-ups. Just use the
Okay. Am I go for the room? Okay. Right. Hello, everyone. If I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, I'm Luke. I'm down in San Antonio at the UT Health Science Center of San Antonio. I'm wrapping up my residency this month, which is quite exciting. I'm going to be working with camp in the Denver area shortly afterwards. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys more often and participating in this community. The PQI project that I did for my clinic was we had a pretty antiquated way of doing medical physics consult write-ups. My goal is to kind of breathe some life into that, make it more responsive, dynamic, and quick. So this is a very practical talk. We're just going to be going very high level formatting, templating type stuff. But yeah, just to get us all started off on the same page, medical physics consults, these are documents that we write to log our assessment of pretty much if it's a special procedure or if there's a special consideration. Another way to think about this is the physician will come to us with a question. This is our response to that question. This is saying, hey, this is based on our expertise and training. This is what we found to be important, and this is a paper trail of our assessment. Super important for patient safety, communication between the entire treatment team, and then compliance and legal protection. Once again, just having documents to go back to, super important. So I can't emphasize enough, this is one of the most important things that we do. So the question that myself and my coworkers had quite often is, why do we spend so much time templating these things as opposed to spending that time on the clinical assessment itself? So the goal is to address that with, I don't know what these transitions are, they're really cool though. I'm stoked about it. QuickWrite is the name of the software that I put together over the past year. I'm going to showcase how we did write-ups before that at Mace Cancer Center and then how we do it now after. I'm going to go through the results of the impact that it's had at the Mace Cancer Center. And then I would say the most exciting part, we're going to go through how to actually make a QuickWrite profile for yourself. It's super easy. You can do it in about 2 minutes for your clinic. Yeah. So how did we write NPCs at the Mace Cancer Center? Well, it was, like I said, quite antiquated. We just had some static templates that we would pull from. We're doing an MRI CT. We would pull that MRI CT template in. We would fill in placeholders. We would repeat information. We would have to change it from singular to plural, et cetera, if we're doing multiple fusions of the same type. For obvious reasons, this got pretty annoying pretty quickly. We're doing these on average around like 100 to 150 times a month. So the frictions that I felt and that my coworkers felt were it was time intensive to that repetitive nature. The cognitive load, there's a lot of mental energy spent formatting, especially if you were combining two different write-up styles. Like let's say you're doing an MRI CT fusion and a PET CT fusion. Putting the two together from those two static templates was kind of arduous, and if all that effort could be offloaded or delegated to a computer, it would free us up to be more present for the actual assessment itself. And then we're all individually, or we're all unique individuals, so the way that we fill in these things are understandably going to be different. So there's going to be variations in how we fill it out. But for documents that are logging our assessment, it's very important that it's accurate and somewhat standardized. So we're trying to address inconsistency through standardization and I guess as a side effect, reduce errors by having less inputs or manual edits. So Gary is going to help us out. Gary's going to be our hypothetical patient. We're going to do some write-ups for him. He's a 45-year-old male with left lung and prostate cancer. His attending is planning to request a fusion or two to help with prostate glands contouring, as well as elect him for DIBH for the lung plan. So we're not going to read through everything for obvious reasons. What I wanted to convey here is visually in red is everything that we would routinely remove from our template after importing it. Everything in green is everything that we would add. As you can see, it's a number of edits to be making for something that's pretty standard. We see MRI CTs daily. This gets exacerbated when you, the flashes are telling me. This gets exacerbated when you have multimodality images. Like I said, if you have two different templates that you then have to Frankenstein together, it's tedious. You don't want to do it all the time. Once again, you see there's a bunch of edits that need to be made. It just wasn't feasible for long term. Moving on to special procedures. Here we can see for the DIBH, it's very similar to the MRI CT write-up. Some deletions, some inserts. And let's say after careful consideration, the physician has opted to elect Gary for SBRT with a simultaneous integrated boost. In addition to the DIBH technique, how does this change our write-up? Turns out quite significantly. Our SBRT template that we use at MCC was limited to just 4D imaging. So we have to go in and Frankenstein together our DIBH write-up with our SBRT write-up. Once again, just a lot of templating. So I want to emphasize if we're doing this, once every now and then, it wouldn't be a big deal, but we're seeing this on the scale, at least at the Mays Cancer Center, of around 100 to 150 times a month. So we were hoping to improve this by, or I should say I was hoping to improve this by creating a web tool, something that was easily accessible from any computer, where you could put in routine, simple inputs and get a dynamic output out of it. To be clear here, how do I say? The program itself is agnostic of AI. It doesn't include AI within it or LLM. So you put the same inputs twice, you're going to get the same outputs twice. To me, that was really important for standardization, making it predictable and I guess easily troubleshoot, or easy to improve upon. But LLMs were used to help with the coding. But I just want to be clear on that it is a static web tool. And then also, since it is a web tool, you have to exclude any HIPAA PHI. This can be circumvented later on by running it locally, which we'll talk about later for those that are a little bit more computer savvy. But I haven't found this to be too much of an issue. It's just one placeholder that we usually replace with the patient's name. So I knew what I wanted to make. The question is, how do I make it? Inspired by TG100, I effectively made a big decision tree map of, if I'm sitting down to write an MPC, what are all the things that I consider and how does that shape the write-up that I ultimately end up with? I'm going to, in the next slide, show you what that looked like. And then I needed some technologies to help aid me in creating this web app. So on the left-hand side is the cursor icon. This is for, it's a interactive development environment for coding with LLM integration to help out with gaps in coding knowledge that I had for the project. Next is Next.js. This is just a framework for coding with React and Node.js. Railway and Vercel are both just hosting services that I utilize. One for the back end, one for the front end. And then GitHub is where the code lives. So if you don't want to take a look at it, download it, look at previous versions, that's where you go. Right, so this is one of the iterations of the Maze MPC logic map. We're not going to go through it, again, for obvious reasons. But what I want to do is, I really wanted to include this because I want us to appreciate what our brains are doing when we sit down to do a write-up. This is what we are effectively processing every time we sit down. We're going through, hey, what did we go through? What variables were included? How do I want to format this? So the idea is if we could offload or delegate all of this, once again, it would free us up more for the clinical assessment itself. So what does this new process look like? Gary's going to help us out again. We're going to do the same write-ups as beforehand, but I'm going to pull it up on QuickWrite. Cool. So we started off with an MRI CT fusion. Real quick, I'm going to make sure I have the right clinic at Mays Cancer Center. Okay. In this case, I would go to the Fusion MPCs. I split this up into two categories. On the left is Fusion MPCs, stuff that we do before the plan is out, help out with target contouring. On the right-hand side is general MPCs. This is more so special procedures, special considerations. So if we're doing an MRI CT, I would say, hey, we have one MRI CT for this patient. I want to launch this Fusion setup. And let's say at Mace Cancer Center, Dr. Kirby is the physicist that approved Fusion, and Dr. Lewis is our attending. We talked about it being a prostate fusion, so we could put pelvic, but I want to maybe be a little bit more specific. You type in prostate. And just like that, the template that we need is there. The idea is to just reduce the friction of flipping through a bunch of different templates and libraries and selecting the right one. Instead, put right this up for you. You'll see the three hyphens are right down here. This is where you'll replace these three hyphens with your patient's name and your report and verify system, which are back in a local environment. And then it's just a one-click copy. You can paste it within your R&B super quick. We saw how doing multimodality imaging can make it a lot worse. There's a lot more edits. With QuickWrite, it scales. So let's say I'm doing an MRI CT and a PET CT with a deformable registration. It's just one extra click. I go through the same steps, Dr. Kirby, Dr. Lewis, say it's for prostate. And it's going to pull the exact template that I need. And it's clinically accurate. It flows nicely. There's no redundancy. It's appropriate for this patient's needs. And then the last example I'll do real quick, because we can be drilled in, is the DIVH. Let's say Dr. Kirby and Dr. Lewis are helping us out again. We talked about it being to the left lung, so I'm going to say, hey, we're treating to the left lung. Let's say we're doing in 60 gray and 30 fractions, and a boost of 10 and 5. Just like that, I have everything that I need. In this case, it's all ready to go. I copy and paste. Of course, the obvious disclaimer, read through these before you submit them. But overall, we've seen a lot of time savings from this. So the last thing I'll show you on the website is if you're interested in using this at your clinic or just messing around with it and giving me some feedback and finding all the little bugs and stuff, I would love that. You can go to settings and you can create a clinic for yourself. So the Mace Cancer Center is here, the default profile for us to reference. Here we have all the different modules enabled, and we have our clinic staff input here, and then our different NPC specific settings or presets. If I wanted to make one, we'll go ahead and call this Gary's Clinic. And the password is 4 letters. It starts with a G. And let's say at this clinic, we don't have SRS, we don't have HDR, we don't have DIVH, no TBI. In that case, you'll notice that the settings for those go away. It's kind of the whole ethos of this project, show you what you need as you need it versus any sort of visual noise. Let's say I go ahead and create this profile, save. All I have to do is activate it. I can go over to QuickWrite. And sure enough, you'll see I only have the different modules that I selected. And if I go to do a write-up, let's say another MRI write-up. Oh, wait, I forgot to put in the staff here. We'll put in a couple staff real quick. You can edit your profile password. Let's say our physician is Larry. And, Barry. And our physicists are Jerry. Terry. Now when we go to do a write-up, you don't have to type that out every single time, multiple times. It's just a button. You say, hey, Jerry, help me out with this. This is Larry's patient. We did a brain MRI. And just like that, you see write-up. That's pretty cool. But it's ready to go. So to return to my presentation real quick, I'm going to wrap it up because I know the thing standing between us and some good food. So it seems more streamlined, but by how much? At our clinic, we saw a mean time reduction of 79.3% and a median time reduction of 83.6%. On average, we were saving around 9 hours every single month, and across the year, that's over 100 hours that we were saving. Module level performance, I won't dig into. It's here for your own reference if you want to check it out later. The main idea is that not all modules are created equally. Different write-ups have different amounts of involvement. They're more personalized, or you can automate as well. So yeah, here's all the individual details for those QAs. And then final notes for those that are super computer savvy. The source code is completely open source. It has an MIT license, so you're able to download it, run this locally, modify it at your own risk, do whatever you want with it. The idea is to just provide a tool for those that might not have a good MPC write-up workflow, just something to help them out. This is a system that I'm super proud of. I'm going to continue to iterate on it as I develop it as a physicist. So yeah. Anyone feel free to go to this link and check it out for yourself if you don't want to use the website, but run something more local. And then some quick acknowledgements. These faculty were instrumental in providing feedback on the write-ups and guidance on pursuing the project. And then all of my coworkers are the best. They submitted so many Google Forms saying what they wrote up, how long it took, etc. So these are my dear friends who were super helpful. And lastly, this is a system that thrives on iteration and feedback. Just like anything, it's a work in progress. So if y'all decide to mess around with it and you have any feedback, just let me know. Email me, text me. I'm super stoked to talk about this. So yeah, thank you.
Any questions? All right.
Do you guys use, like, in the end, are you copying and pasting this into like a document in your EMR, like Aria or Mosaic or something like that? Or are you putting it into like Epic?
Yeah, so we use Mosaic. So there's an eScribe function, effectively just pulls up a Word document.
Yeah.
We paste it in there, we replace the name, and just like that, we submit it.
So the eScribe functionality, those like document templates that you build, you can actually build in tags that will pull in the patient information automatically into the document.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to combine that with your tool for the actual write-up, you don't have to worry about including patient information on the write-up itself. It'll pull it from the chart directly to the document.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Sounds great.
I saw another question. Vic.
Yeah, two questions actually. One is your templates. I'm assuming that can be personalized also to the templates I have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, in order to change the, I guess, surface level variables, like, hey, I use RayStation instead of Pinnacle, you can do all that on the website itself. But if you want to dig in and say, hey, I want to phrase this sentence differently, that's where you go to the source code, download it, and make more granular adjustments within the code itself.
Second question, this seems like a great SLAM presentation. Did you present it?
No, I didn't really know about SLAM.
It's in the wrong chapter.
Well, you would that's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We would, you know, rock out chapter.
I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And